In recent times, concerns over an imminent economic crisis have intensified, permeating discussions within both financial institutions and households across America. Heightened volatility in stock markets and the ever-increasing burden of debt paint a foreboding picture, hinting at the possibility of a substantial downturn in the nation's economic fortunes. This video aims to dissect the multifaceted factors fueling this apprehension, ranging from fiscal vulnerabilities to systemic instabilities. By examining these contributors in detail, we can gain a clearer understanding of the challenges ahead and explore avenues for fortifying resilience in the face of potential economic turbulence. Now, before we start today's video, subscribe to our channel and like this video. Here we go. Number 5. Debt overload. The United States faces a dire economic challenge rooted in its staggering levels of debt, which pose a significant threat to both national and individual financial stability. At the federal level, the national debt has ballooned to over $30 trillion, a figure that continues to climb unchecked. This mountain of debt not only burdens future generations with interest payments, but also constrains the government's ability to invest in essential services and respond effectively to economic downturns. Additionally, as a result of easy access to credit and slow wage growth, consumer debt is rising at the individual level. As interest rates gradually increase, the burden of servicing this debt becomes more onerous, diverting resources away from productive investments and household consumption. The combined weight of national and individual debt casts a shadow over economic growth prospects, leaving both governments and citizens vulnerable to financial strain and exacerbating the risk of a broader economic crisis. Urgent action is needed to address this mounting debt burden through prudent fiscal management, targeted debt reduction strategies, and policies that promote sustainable economic growth. Number 4. Inequality and stagnant wages. Despite the overall economic growth witnessed in the United States, a troubling trend of widening income inequality has emerged, presenting a significant threat to the nation's socioeconomic fabric. This growing divide is particularly evident in the shrinking middle class, whose purchasing power and economic security have been eroded over time. Wages have failed to keep pace with the rising cost of living, leaving many families struggling to make ends meet. Consequently, consumer spending, a cornerstone of economic activity, is constrained, dampening demand for goods and services and hindering overall growth prospects. Moreover, the widening wealth gap perpetuates a cycle of inequality, as those at the top of the income ladder accumulate wealth at a disproportionate rate, further exacerbating disparities in economic opportunity and social mobility. Without decisive interventions to address inequality and bolster wage growth, the economy remains susceptible to instability, with the potential for social unrest and political upheaval looming on the horizon. It is imperative for policymakers to implement meaningful reforms aimed at fostering inclusive growth, empowering the middle class, and narrowing the income gap to ensure a more equitable and resilient economic future for all Americans. Number 3. Geopolitical tensions and trade wars. The global geopolitical landscape is currently characterized by heightened tensions and trade disputes, with the United States frequently finding itself at the epicenter of these contentious issues. The implementation of tariffs and retaliatory measures has become a common tactic, resulting in disruptions to supply chains, elevated costs for businesses and consumers, and a pervasive atmosphere of uncertainty in financial markets. These trade frictions not only undermine the efficiency of global commerce, but also threaten to escalate into full-blown economic conflicts with far-reaching consequences. Furthermore, the potential for broader economic fallout looms large as interconnected economies become increasingly vulnerable to the specter of recession. The interdependence of global markets means that any disruption in one part of the world can quickly reverberate across continents, amplifying the risk of economic downturns and financial instability. In this precarious environment, diplomatic efforts to de-escalate tensions and restore confidence in international trade are crucial to safeguarding the stability and prosperity of the global economy. Number 2. Climate change and environmental degradation. The economic impacts of climate change are becoming increasingly evident as extreme weather events, natural disasters, and environmental degradation wreak havoc on critical sectors such as infrastructure, agriculture, and public health. From devastating hurricanes and wildfires to droughts and floods, these climate-related phenomena exact a heavy toll on communities, businesses, and governments alike. The financial ramifications of these challenges are significant, straining government budgets as emergency response and recovery efforts escalate. Additionally, the increasing frequency and severity of climate-related disasters drives up insurance premiums, further burdening individuals and businesses. Moreover, environmental degradation such as deforestation and pollution undermines the long-term sustainability of economic activities, threatening industries reliant on natural resources. Investor confidence is also eroded as uncertainty surrounding climate risks grows, deterring investment in vulnerable regions and sectors. Without concerted efforts to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to changing climatic conditions, the economic consequences of climate change will continue to escalate, posing a grave threat to global prosperity and stability. It is imperative for policymakers, businesses, and society as a whole to prioritize climate action and implement strategies that build resilience and foster sustainable development. Number 1. Technological disruption and job displacement. The rapid advancement of technology, particularly in the realms of automation, artificial intelligence, and other disruptive innovations, has brought about profound changes to the labor market. While these advancements have undoubtedly spurred innovation and productivity gains, they also present significant challenges, particularly in terms of employment. Automation and AI have the potential to displace workers across various industries, leading to rising unemployment rates and exacerbating socioeconomic inequalities. The gap between the skilled and unskilled workforce widens as jobs requiring specialist skills become more prevalent, leaving many workers ill-equipped to compete in an increasingly digitized economy. Without proactive strategies to address this issue, such as comprehensive retraining programs and initiatives to foster inclusive growth, the economic fallout from technological disruption is poised to be severe. It is imperative for policymakers, businesses, and educational institutions to collaborate in developing solutions that ensure all members of society can adapt and thrive in the face of rapid technological change, thereby safeguarding both economic prosperity and social stability. Conclusion. The warning signs of a looming economic crisis in America are glaringly evident, stemming from a multitude of interconnected challenges. Unsustainable levels of debt, deeply entrenched inequality, geopolitical instability, and environmental risks collectively pose significant threats to the nation's economic stability and prosperity. However, amidst these daunting challenges, there exists a pathway forward. By prioritizing prudent fiscal management, the government can begin to address the root causes of its fiscal vulnerabilities, fostering a more sustainable economic trajectory. Investing in critical infrastructure and education is essential for bolstering long-term resilience and ensuring that the workforce remains competitive in a rapidly evolving global economy. Additionally, pursuing equitable economic policies that promote inclusive growth and opportunity can help alleviate systemic inequalities and drive broader economic prosperity. Moreover, confronting the existential threat of climate change through proactive measures such as transitioning to renewable energy and implementing adaptation strategies is imperative for safeguarding both the environment and the economy. It is paramount that policymakers, businesses, and citizens alike recognize the urgency of the situation and take decisive action to mitigate these risks. The time for complacency has passed. Concerted efforts must be undertaken now to chart a course towards a more resilient and prosperous future for America. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.